In 1180, Chenies Manor belonged to the Cheyne family. The village is named after them. It became the home of the Dukes of Bedford for 400 years. The house was originally used as a hunting box by Edward I in the 13th century. The main part of the house that we look at today is a 15th century manor house. The manor preserves its medieval tower and battlements. The inner courtyard was surrounded by 3 sides of the house. The long room was the parlour of the house around 1551. The furniture is 17th century and there is some Chinese porcelain. The carved coats of arms are displayed above the fireplace. The room is still used occasionally for social occasions. The closet was used by the domestic chaplain. Miles Coverdale, one of the chaplains, was an early translator of the scriptures. His English version of the Psalms of David is still used in the Anglican prayer book. It was published when he was still the chaplain at Chenies. From the green corridor, we move into the dining room. This was modernised in the early 19th century. It features the furniture, plates and glass of the time. Most notable in the white drawing room are the Persian carpets and the gilded Louis XVI furniture. The stone parlour retains its original stone floor. Underneath is an entrance to subterranean tunnels. These have survived today. This room was changed in the 16th century when John Russell rebuilt the house. A solid brick wall was inserted in the south wall. This was to accommodate fireplaces for the house. There were 6 outside shafts and chimneys of cut brick. The spiral staircase leads to a landing. The handrail is cut brick. The small window depicts a cross. The north bedroom or red room leads off the landing. The wallpaper is designed by the daughter of William Morris. The 4-poster bed is unusually small. The long gallery runs the length of all the rooms on the first floor of this wing. It's an open gallery. It was built for the accommodation of armed men and their equipment. Queen Elizabeth's room is an oak-floored parlour. The second Earl of Bedford was a Protestant. He was an important minister to the Queen. Important matters of state were discussed here, including arrangements for imprisoning Mary Stuart, Queen of Scots. Most of the furniture in the Pink Room is Anglo-Indian. In the Green Bedroom, we see an early Yorkshire tester bed. In the corner of the Pink Bedroom is a small oratory. Underneath the floor is a large hiding place. This was used as the hole to hide a Catholic priest. The hiding place has a hidden ventilator. Originally, it may have been a privy. The brick fireplace in the library displays the diaper pattern of brickwork. The fireplace notes the date of 1502. The snooker or billiard room was probably the Great Chamber or main guest reception room. The wallpaper is by William Morris. The Oriental china was recovered from sunken ships. John Russell modernised the house between 1522 and 1533. He added a wing to the south. It was known as New Lodgings. It was to improve accommodation for the guests. He built many fireplaces and furnished all the flues with ornamental cut brick chimneys. 22 of the chimneys have survived. It was fashionable to have ornamental brick chimneys. This was influenced by the chimneys at Hampton Court in London and Thornbury Castle in Gloucestershire. The bricks for the house were dug from a nearby field. It's still known as clay pits. The brick facades were carefully painted. Red, black and white limewash was used to give the illusion of perfect and bright diaper work. The gardens of the manor are closely connected with the house. They're intended to be viewed from various rooms to give vistas of the buildings. The garden to the west of the house was known as Little Gardens. It included a sunken feature. Lucy, the third Countess of Bedford, became known as an important gardener in the early 17th century. She influenced the layout of the gardens. The famous oak tree is probably 1,000 years old. It was a survivor from a native forest and was kept when a park was laid out in the 16th century. It became known as Queen Elizabeth's Oak.